Standing here now in the small town of Ballykissangel in the heart of the Wicklow Mountains. Big Bertie O'Doyle was a popular politician who represented this constituency for nearly 30 years. In many ways, his death marks the end of an era for Irish politics. From Ballykissangel, this is Leo McCarthy.
What is it?
Ah, there. Look.
Ah!
Oh.
Resurrection to eternal life through our Lord Jesus Christ, we commend to Almighty God our brother Bartholomew, and we commit his body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The Lord bless him and keep him. The Lord make his face to shine upon him and be gracious to him. The Lord lift up his countenance upon him and give him peace.
Well, that was a grand send-off. I trust you'll do the same for me sometime.
Only if you get yourself elected to the Dáil.
Are you tempted to stand in the by-election?
No. The council takes up enough of my time.
We need someone to save us from that scoundrel, Brian.
Who is he?
Sean Dooley, plumber, councillor, and antichrist.
Some CV.
Well, he's Big Bertie's favourite to take over from him.
Father McNally.
Sean.
Ryan. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Peter Clifford. I'm the new curate here.
Oh, Sean Dooley. Very pleased to meet you, Peter. It's a pity on such a sad day.
I can see your heart bleeding from here.
Always the joker, eh, Brian? Of course, I'd prefer to be cremated myself. That's far more hygienic than this medieval custom of yours.
Burning is for witches.
What's your rush, Sean? You'll have enough flames to cope with in the next life.
I mean it, Niamh. The next time we meet at St. Joe's, I want you to be wearing white.
I want to get married as much as you do, but Dad will never agree so soon after the last fiasco, and I want a proper reception.
She had one.
I'd like the groom to be there this time. So we'll have to wait and catch Dad at the right moment.
Well, look it. No time like the present. Brian. Sorry, Father. Niamh and I were just saying...
You have to come quick.
What? I'll have a wake to go to.
I can't tell you here.
Just a minute.
We'll have to find trombones.
Cheers, thanks. Well, tuck in. Big Bertie's paying.
No more. I want to be able to get into my wedding dress.
You really think your dad's going to cough up a second time?
But the dust has barely settled on his wallet.
It'll happen. You'll see. So no more for you either. We can't afford another bridesmaid's dress.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Ah.
Well, we're going to have to do something about the church bell, Father. It sounds dreadful.
Sounds fine to me.
What's your diagnosis?
I think we're talking intensive care.
I think we're talking dead and buried.
Thank you for that, Assumpta. It makes no difference. We don't have the money for such luxuries.
Well, why don't we start a restoration fund? I mean, that could really bring the community together.
That'll be a first.
Now, you know I like mustard on my sandwiches.
You? What the hell are you doing here?
Assumpta, please. Language.
Father McAnally, Father Clifford, Dr. Ryan, Liam McGarvey. We were at college together.
Assumpta was the smart one. She always had a crease in her jeans.
Tell us more.
On pain of death.
It's a sheep.
Never seen a sheep that size.
Are you sure?
No doubt about it.
Oh, no, I'm not touching it.
He thinks it's human.
What are you, a doctor? Here, Liam, keep it safe. For heaven's sake, say nothing. We don't want people getting upset for no reason now, do we?
This is just a by-election, but mark my words, if that heathen had his way, we'd be first up against the wall. We should stick to plumbing.
Well, I certainly would never trust a man with a ballot box in one hand and a toilet plunger in the other.
What do you think, Father?
Well, I think the church should keep out of party politics.
Whose side are you on?
It's not a question of sides.
This is Ireland. There are always sides.
Well, then maybe Mr. Dooley has a point, and church and state should remain separate.
Absolutely right.
What? You can't do that.
Why not? Everyone else does.
We are not everyone else. Ah, here's the man for the job. Local councillor, businessman, churchgoer.
What are you talking about?
Brian Quigley, TD, member for Kilvargan. What do you say?
Can I get anyone a drink?
Looks like he's canvassing already.
Now, why in heaven's name would I want to go into politics?
Vote Brian Quigley. Your local independent candidate. If you vote Dooley, you're voting for the future. The spirit of Big Bertie lives on. You give Dooley your #1 vote. For a new beginning, send Dooley to Dublin. What are you doing here? I've just as much a right to be here as you. Clear off. You're not wanted in this town. Oh, face it quickly. Your days are over. What do you know about politics? You're just a plumber. I'm not a plumber. I'm a sanitary engineer. There's a difference. You wouldn't know the difference between a U-turn and a U-bend. But I know a cowboy when I see one. Vote Quigley. A man you can trust. For a new beginning, send Dooley to Dublin. You know it makes sense. Onward! Vote Dooley for a liability. Give Dooley your #1 vote.
Looks like I'll have to find some other way of raising money for the bell.
It's disgrace. Folk round here should be ashamed of themselves.
If only we could get some of the coverage that Sean Dooley's getting, would there be no problem. He hasn't been off the front page in the last couple of days.
What do you expect? He plays golf with the editor.
Ah, Brian. Campaign going well?
For Dooley.
Cheek of that man. I was helping this town while he was still in nappies.
You've only ever helped yourself, Brian Quigley.
No time to argue with you now. Put one of these up in your window.
I'll do no such thing. As far as the election goes, I'm strictly non-partisan.
What are you talking about?
If I put yours up, then Mr. Dooley's supporters might boycott the shop. I could scare off half my customers.
Well, why break the habit of a lifetime? You've had the upper one up in the church.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I'm with Kathleen on this one.
Well, how about if I were to make a donation to your Bell Fund?
Well, we do need all the help we can get.
Now you're talking. We'll make a parish priest of you yet.
Thank you, Brian.
Here, wait a minute. Hold on. What about me? I've just been robbed by a priest.
Where did you say you got it?
The dog dug it up. Couldn't tell you where.
Well, it's definitely not a sheep. It could be anything, really. Might even be human. Oh.
Don't know.
Father.
Siobhan.
Father. Coffee or something stronger?
Strong coffee. You're right. No one's interested in the bell.
Oh, well. Never mind, Father. Next time there's a funeral, you can always use this.
Thanks.
Last orders already.
Leo, I didn't know you were staying in town.
Yeah, well, I've got to cover the election campaign, so I thought, who better to stay with than me out Scotia?
He's renting a room.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a discount for old time's sake.
He should be so lucky.
Don't let her fool you, Father. She wasn't always this hard-headed.
She wasn't always trying to run a business. Maybe Leo could help you with some publicity.
Oh, it's a thought.
What about?
The Bell of Ballycay.
I know who that is.
Wrong source.
Yeah, we're trying to raise money to restore the church bell. Do you think you could do a piece?
Well, I'll think about it.
I imagine that's your way of saying no.
Father, can you come outside for a minute, please?
Mr. Quigley, I need an interview with you as soon as you've got a moment.
Niamh?
Father. What's going on? Oh, thanks.
I know it sounds awful, Brian, but I'm still hoping that the parishioners will raise the money.
You'd have more luck raising the dead. No, it's no use waiting. I'm going to pay for the restoration myself.
Oh, an answer to your prayers.
Well, that's very generous of you, Brian, but...
No buts. We can't go on with this noise.
Well, I'll have to check with Father Mac first.
I already have. He agrees. The bell's coming down tomorrow afternoon.
So, how much have you lost now?
£3, 4 ounces. Not bad, eh? Not that Ambrose has noticed. What about you?
Nearly 5.
You've lost £5.
Well, lost and found them again. Now I think they're breeding.
Well, there's no hurry. Every time I mention the wedding to Dad, he just pleads poverty. He's more interested in that blasted election.
Poor Leo's struggling to find even a half-decent story in it.
Of all the gin joints in all the world, he had to walk into yours.
Look, we had some good times together, that's all. It's a long time ago.
It's never too late.
You behave. We are just good friends now, okay?
Where have I heard that before?
Great news. Your dad's paying for the bell restoration.
Oops.
Huh.
He says he can't afford my wedding because he's broke.
Sorry, I had no idea.
It is just a publicity stunt. He's only doing it to get votes.
You're too cynical. I really think it's a genuine offer.
Bless me, Father, for I am about to sin.
Told you already, this election is costing me a fortune. No prizes for coming second, you know?
And where do I come? After a bell?
We'll discuss it after I'm elected. Do we want it in the end, you'll see.
And what if you lose? What happens then?
Julie and the dawn? Doomsday.
And the Dow Jones closed down 15 points to 3954.2 today. A poll conducted this morning suggests that the two main candidates standing for the Clontargan by-election are running neck and neck, with only a week left before polling day. We go over live to Leo McGarvey, who's on the campaign trail with independent candidate Brian Quigley.
Thank you, Nuala. I'm here in Brian Quigley's hometown of Ballykissangel, where the candidate is supervising the restoration of the chapel bell. With me is Father Frank McAnally, parish priest for the area. You must be delighted about what's happening this morning, Father.
It's an answer to all our prayers. I've been waiting for this for years, and now at last, thanks to Brian Quigley, we really can ring the changes.
Right, lads. Thanks, Father. That was great.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Mr. Quigley.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Ah, Father, you've missed the show, I'm afraid.
No, I just saw it on the TV. Father, this is
How did I look? Did you see my chins?
Look, what is going on? You see, I was told that the bell would be coming out this afternoon.
Well, it was, but when Brian spoke to the TV fella, he said that he'd rather do it for the breakfast. Didn't anybody tell you?
Strangely enough, no. What's he doing up there?
Ah, Father Peter, you're just in time.
This is some stunt.
And Sean!
All right, Mr. Quigley.
Okay, Liam.
Using your church like this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
But I
You leave him out of this.
It's all right, Father.
You're just as bad.
Now, hold on.
You can't speak to me like that. I'm the parish priest.
And I'm a councillor. Who elected you?
The bells of Gory Cathedral. I thought we needed something in the meantime. Fully automatic.
All right. Two can play at this game, Quigley.
No, lads.
And, what was it you were saying about keeping the church out of politics?
Not you two, please.
Dad will stop at nothing to win this election.
Not a bad story, eh? Thanks for suggesting it in the first place.
My pleasure.
This calls for a celebration. How about we hit the bright lights of Ballykay tonight, eh?
Well, any bright lights around here are used for directing traffic.
Yeah, well, there must be somewhere we could go for dinner.
There's the Castle Court in Kildargan. It's where Ambrose proposed.
I'll book a table right away.
No. Hold on. I haven't arranged anyone to cover for me here.
It's okay, I'm not doing anything.
Great, that's settled. Thanks, Neve.
Having a fancy meal is hardly going to get me into a bridesmaid's dress.
I doubt you'll ever need to.
What's the matter with you?
Something doesn't get out much these days, does she, Siobhan?
Oh, well, you surprise me. When we were students, fellas were falling over themselves to take her out.
In here, they just fall over.
There's only two eligible men in this town. One's a policeman and one's a priest. She's marrying one, and the other one doesn't count.
Talking of eligible men.
Couple of large whiskies, please.
How's the rag and bone business these days?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you fellas work for Brian Quigley?
Yeah.
They're in two minds about it.
What do you want to know for?
Ah, well, anything about Mr. Quigley interests me. How's the new building project coming on?
There's nothing going on up there.
We've been saying that for years.
What he means is it's not finished yet.
There you are, 6:20.
Oh, here, allow me.
No, thank you. Come on, you.
Cut it out. What do you think?
I think she looks fantastic.
Well, let's go.
Come on.
Father, could I have a word?
Of course.
I wanted to ask you, is body snatching a sin?
Sorry?
Father? Nothing. Good evening, Father.
What's up with him?
I'm not sure. Anyway, was there something you wanted to ask me?
I've made a decision, Father.
What's that?
Niamh and I are going to elope.
Elope?
I can't be waiting for Brian Quigley any longer. What do you think?
Well, what does Niamh think?
I haven't told her yet.
Well, I'd speak to her first.
You're right. Thank you, Father.
Where have we just come from? Timbuktu.
I live in the middle of nowhere, remember?
Hmm.
Do you fancy a nightcap?
As long as it's on the house.
Do you remember that drink we invented during finals, the Terminator?
The Terminator.
I don't like this at all. I'll bury you in a minute if you don't hold that steady.
Oh. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Don't you miss it?
Miss what?
The past.
The past was a long time ago, Leo.
I don't know how you manage living here.
You get used to it.
No wonder you've been driven to drink.
Look, I've had a great evening. I haven't enjoyed myself this much in ages.
I miss you. You know?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I've been out with others since us, but...
It hasn't been quite the same.
No.
I have to be up early. Breakfast starts from 7:30.
Something.
Yeah, I got some of your muesli in specially for you, seeing as you always used to eat mine.
I still love you.
Leo,
I'm serious.
I know.
Something. I hate muesli. Must have been someone else.
This better be good. I'm supposed to be canvassing.
Sorry, Mr. Quigley, but we thought you should see this. It goes with these.
No one will live in a house built in the bones of the dead.
Thank you, Donal. It had crossed my mind.
We think we know who it is.
You do?
Think back. Who does it remind you of?
Of course. How could I forget those eyes?
Not the eyes. The tooth.
One-toothed Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten hell for this.
Donald!
This used to be his land, didn't it?
Oh. Mr. McGarvey, what can we do for you?
I was hoping I could have that interview with you.
Oh, far too busy, I'm afraid. I have to be back on the campaign trail. Liam, would you bring those rosettes with you? Here, you can have mine for the moment.
Go on, Niamh, just think about it.
I am not eloping with you.
Why not?
I'm not arguing with you, Ambrose. When I say no, I mean no. You better get used to it.
But we don't need all this fussing around. I say we just run away together and get married on our own terms.
My terms are I want to get married in Ballykissangel.
But sure, eloping will be very romantic, don't you think?
Obviously, we have a very different idea of what is romantic. I don't consider driving away in your patrol car to some registry office to be one of them.
So what do you want?
I've just told you I want a real wedding with the proper trimmings.
You make it sound like Christmas dinner, you know?
I'm obviously not making myself very clear. It's really very simple. If you don't marry me properly, Ambrose Egan, you don't marry me at all.
Well, I can't say that I've ever heard of this one-toothed Tommy, but they're not new around here. Look, why don't you ask Michael Ryan, the doctor? Well, he's lived here all his life. He took over the practice from his father.
Thanks, I will.
How did you hear about him?
Sorry, Father. You understand I have to protect my sources. There was something else I wanted to ask you. About Assumpta.
Yeah?
You see, when we were at college, we were very close.
You were in love?
Oh, very much so. But then, right after we graduated, her mother died. She'd been widowed a few years, so Assumpta came back to look after the family business. Now, I wanted to be a journalist, so I was going to move down here and start working the local rag, just so as I could be near her.
So what happened?
I got offered a trainee job in Fleet Street.
Difficult choice.
No, not for me. I was all ready to come here. It was Assumpta who persuaded me to go. She said if I didn't, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. So I went. And that was the end of us.
Only you still love her.
I don't think I've ever really loved anyone else. Trouble is, I don't know about her. She seems distant. It's as if she's thinking about someone else.
Well, she said something.
No, and that's very unlike her. She's very straight.
Oh, yes.
I just have my doubts. They go with the job, unfortunately. What do you think?
Well, instead of treating her with suspicion, why don't you treat her as a friend? Just talk to her. Tell her how you really feel.
Yeah, you're right. Like Assumpta says, you're not just a pretty face.
Well, at least they're accurate.
These bells were brought to you by Brian Quigley, the independent candidate. Post Quigley. Brian means business for Ballykissangel. These bells were brought to you by Brian Quigley, the independent candidate. Post Quigley.
Don't believe it, and he's still got the key.
Well, turn off the mains.
The mains are in there.
What is going on?
It's our independent candidate acting independently. I'll phone Father Mac, he's got a spare key.
Assumpta! I need to talk to you.
What about?
About us. I don't want to make the same mistake twice.
We didn't make a mistake. We did the right thing at the time.
What about now?
I don't know, Leo.
Well, Peter thought we ought to talk.
You spoke to Peter about us.
Father Max out. There's only one other way. I need your help.
I don't want you talking to him about us again, okay? Ever.
You think this is a good idea?
You're going to be down in time for Mass, Father.
I am not risking that tape going off again during it.
Don't worry, Father. The doctor has just arrived.
Great.
What's going on here?
Dr. Ryan.
Yeah?
I wonder if I might have a word.
Yeah, sure.
How was last night?
Complicated.
I can't get through.
You're too fat.
Just had a big breakfast.
Here, I'll go.
You will not. I don't want a bridegroom with a broken neck.
I didn't think you wanted a bridegroom at all.
What about you?
Sorry, can't stop. I'll see you later.
Well, if you want something done around here, you do it yourself.
What are you doing? You can't go up there.
For my ladders.
Look, it's not safe. I'll go and get Quigley.
Oh, you should be happy, Father. This is the nearest I've been to God in years.
These bells were brought to you by Brian Quigley, the independent candidate. Remember, to vote Quigley. You know it makes sense.
Thanks.
I want a word with you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And remember, every vote counts. Hello, Brian Quigley.
Excuse me, Mr. Quigley.
Oh.
OK, rolling. Yep. How's the campaign going, Mr. Quigley?
Well, the polls are looking good, and so I'm quietly confident.
Is there anything else you're being quiet about?
How do you mean?
No skeletons in your cupboard, then?
Well, I don't really know what you have in mind.
One-toothed Tommy, for instance.
Excuse me, folks. It's your man from This Is Your Life. So, what's all this about?
OK, off the record. Go on. Tommy McIver. He had a small holding near Ballycay in the 50s. Lived like a hermit.
So anyone could have told you that.
Do you remember what came of him?
Yeah. He disappeared.
Vanished. Just like that. No one ever had sight nor sound of him again. It's been a mystery ever since.
So what's this got to do with me?
Well, you're building on his old land. I think you found something out about him. You're trying to cover it up in case they make you stop building.
You, sir, are whistling in the wind.
I can't whistle, Mr. Quigley. But I can sing. Loud.
I just want to know what you've been saying to Leo.
Oh, he asked my advice, that's all. I couldn't really refuse.
I bet you couldn't.
Look, I'm a priest. It's my business.
Well, in future, I would be grateful if you kept your nose out of my business, okay?
What are we going to do?
We need a professional. Somebody who disposes of bodies all the time.
You mean a hitman?
I was thinking more of a holy man.
Hello, Father. I was just getting ready. Something wrong?
You could say that.
Look, if it's about the bells, I can explain everything.
Oh, never mind your blasted bells. Have you seen this?
What is it?
It's your friend Dooley. Up to no good.
I wouldn't go as far as calling him a friend.
No?
By-election candidate proposes new crematorium.
He's raising it at the next council meeting. I must tell Brian. Do you know where he is?
I imagine he's out canvassing.
Well, if you see him, tell him I want to speak to him. Urgently.
I'd quite like to have a word with him myself.
We must nip this in the bud. It's just a gimmick. Next thing we know, they'll be proposing drive-in masses.
All the same, though, he does have a point. I mean, it was bound to happen eventually.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I mean, it's no longer a sin to be cremated, is it?
So you agree with him?
Well, it's not as simple as that. All I'm saying is there's no denying that cremation's becoming a lot more popular in Ireland these days.
Popular? Father, it is no part of our apostolate to be popular.
Here he comes. What's he up to? Okay, you take those two. I'll follow quickly.
Bless me, Father, for I need your help.
Brian, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Funny you should say that.
You can't just go around using the church for your electioneering.
What, do you want Dooley to win?
That's not the point.
Point is, Father, I'm in trouble.
What do you think you're playing at?
I was just seeing if it was free.
I know you. You're the man on the television, aren't you?
Yes, actually, I am.
Well, that's typical, isn't it? You lot are always sticking your nose in where you shouldn't.
But I was only...
Oh, that filth you pump into folks' homes. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm sorry.
There's no use apologising now the harm's done. No wonder this country's in the state it is.
Brian, I can't just bury any old bones. There are certain procedures.
Father, if this gets out, I could be ruined. And Dooley will see to it.
Well, where are these bones now?
It's always in the barn. I know he's up to something in there.
And this is the last of the poor fella, Father.
Well, I'll do what I can, Brian, but I'll have to go through the proper channels. I stay here.
Ah, Leo. I'm afraid you've just missed last orders.
Is there no one else inside?
Only the good Lord.
Damn!
What's wrong?
Be honest, Father. Has anyone asked you to bury bones?
It's possible. Why?
I knew it. Who?
I'd love to tell you, Leo, but you know how it is. I have to protect my sources.
I don't know, Assumpta. Maybe I'm being unreasonable.
No, I think you're being assertive. If Ambrose wants to elope, he can go by himself.
You're right. I have to be strong.
Exactly. And do you want some more chocolate cake?
What the hell? That dress will probably never see the light of day now anyway.
Some of these must go back years.
My father kept records of all his patients even after they died. Aha! Here we are, under O for one-toothed Tommy. What are you going to tell Quigley?
Let him sweat. I think it's time we called in the future son-in-law.
According to my father's notes, Tommy came to the surgery during the winter of '47.
Yeah, that was the year of the big snow. Remember my father talking about it. The whole town was cut off.
Oh, Tommy was complaining of chest pains, and on examining him, my father discovered he was suffering from bronchial pneumonia. He told Tommy he'd have to be admitted to hospital, but Tommy was a stubborn old fella. He was having none of it. He just got up and left.
And that was the last anyone saw of him.
Well, a few days later, my father went to check up on him, and when he got to the cottage, it was deserted. No sign of Tommy. Search was mounted, but the snow had covered any traces.
It appears the cold finally got to him. He must have laid down in a ditch and died. And his body was finally reclaimed by the bog.
Well, it seems fairly straightforward.
Good. Well, I'm glad that's all cleared up then.
But there is the question of your role in all of this.
Now, hold on a minute.
The unlawful removal of a body.
Bones!
Is a very serious offence.
Perhaps, Ambrose, you might consider mitigating circumstances.
Such as?
Well, Brian's had a lot on his mind recently with the election.
Yeah.
And, of course, your wedding coming up.
Wedding? Yeah, oh yeah, right, the wedding.
In fact, there seems little point delaying it any longer.
No point at all.
Brian, what do you think?
I think, Father, as you should be in politics.
Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace.
Amen. Thank you, Father.
Tommy can rest in peace now. You all set for election day?
Well, all this has taken its toll. I haven't been able to focus my campaign. Dooley's taken a big lead in the polls.
Well, surely there's still time to catch up.
Well, one thing you learn in this game is when to cut your losses. I think the time has come. I'm withdrawing from the election.
Father Mac will be disappointed, especially now Dooley's set to win.
Oh, he'll win all right, but he won't beat me.
Generous man, Brian Quigley, making your daughter a happy woman for the second time.
So my invitation's in the post, Brian, is it?
If there's any consolation, Brian, Dooley didn't get my vote.
Well, he got mine.
And mine.
I don't understand.
Well, we had to be sure he'd be shipped off to Dublin.
But what about the crematorium?
I wouldn't worry your head.
He may have power, but it's influence that counts.
A toast to Neve and Ambrose.
To Neve and Ambrose.
Congratulations. At last.
Don't leave it so long next time.
Next time, I'd like you to come with me. What do you say? We could try again.
No, Leo, not now.
Sure, there's nothing keeping you here. Or maybe I'm wrong.